I recently uploaded a video of a data challenge that I entered where I used SQL to clean a set of data which was extracted from FIFA into CSV. Now, with ChatGPT being such a hot topic at the moment, I decided to attempt some parts of that challenge, this time using ChatGPT as my co pilot to see how it boosted my productivity. The first example I want to look at is the club names. So in my table, I have a column called club. And as you can see that there's already an issue over here. There's some leading spaces. So I'm just going to take one of these club names. So let's just have a look for an interesting one. Okay, let's take this one over here because it also has accents. So I want to see if ChatGPT does anything with the accented characters. And I'm just going to copy whatever is in that uh, column. So now let's prompt ChatGPT to analyze the string and generate a piece of code for us. So I'm gonna just give it a prompt over here to say analyze string. I'm gonna put in that over there and generate MS SQL code to clean the string. Okay, so very little info, just as is, and let's see what it does. And I must say, based on what it's telling me over here, I'm very impressed with the results. And here's why. The, the reason why I chose this example specifically was because I wanted to see if ChatGPT would analyze the string correctly. Now, as you can see, when I pasted this data into my ChatGPT prompt, it already added new line characters, which is why it made the space. It's like pressing your enter key, okay? And remember in ASCII, those are not spaces, they are actually char 10 and char 13. And let's have a look to see what the explanation for this was. So, okay, yes, it declared a string, it passed in the value in whatever, but here's the explanation. So it says that it's cleaning the string by removing leading or trailing white spaces and any line feed character. So line feed is char 10 that you're seeing over here. Character return is char 13 and tab characters is char 9. And then it's using ltrim and rtrim to remove spaces at the beginning of the string and the ending of the string. So that covers that is very comprehensive, and I'm very confident that this will work. So it's a strong start for ChatGPT. Now let's copy this piece of code and add it to our query, and then we can see if the results are correct. So now I'm going to add that piece of code. So like I said, I didn't go and copy all of the variables and whatever. I just needed the part where they clean the string, and that's it. So I take my club name and I replace the variable that ChatGPT declared, and I put that in there, and let's call it as club cleaned, right? And we're gonna run that over there, and there we go. Well done to ChatGPT. 10 out of 10 here. Perfect result. It's analyzed the string correctly, removed any leading spaces, removed the character returns, removed the new line characters, and it's given us a perfectly cleaned club name string. So even though it was a good start for ChatGPT, I think we can throw a little bit more at it and test it some more. So now I want to use this weight column over here, which is it's got kgs and pounds mixed, which is obviously incorrect. You don't want to be mixing units of measures. We want to standardize all of this to pounds. Okay, so I'm going to prompt ChatGPT again to give us a piece of code to standardize this column. So let's give ChatGPT some info. So I'm going to say I have a column in MS SQL Server table which has, let's call it values like 78 kg, or not and, let's say, or let's call it 179 lbs. Analyze strings and convert all values to lbs. Oh, sorry. Let me correct my typo over there, and let's see what ChatGPT is able to do with this over here. So it's done something similar to what I did, where I use substrings to determine whether the string contains kgs or whether it contains lbs, and it's converted it to float as well, which I did, and then I can see that wherever it was kgs, it multiplied it by 2.20, which is the conversion, and then wherever it was lbs, it kept it the same. I think this is going to be correct, but let's test it out. So and I also wrote a case statement as well, so I'm just going to copy that case statement as is, and I'm going to paste it in my query, and let's see if it works. Okay, so I've copied the case statement. Well, I'm going to copy the case statement into my query, and I've got it here. And I'm just going to replace the word your column with weight, and let's see what it does. So it's made some assumptions there as well. So let's call it weight LBS. Okay, so let's run that over there. And does it do it correctly? Yes, everything is sorted out. So now let's have a look over here, where 72 kgs gets converted to 158 pounds. And wherever it's pounds, if we scroll down looking for values with pounds in it, it should be exactly the same, which is correct. So there we have it. We have either 130 pounds or 83 kgs becomes 182 pounds. Again, this is absolutely brilliant, and again, 10 out of 10 for ChatGPT. Okay, so I'm scared now because AI is going to take my job away. It can analyze strings, it can generate the SQL code, and it can do exactly what I did manually. So clearly, this is perfect, but it has to slip up somewhere. Well, let's test it out one more time, and this is another column that I want to put into ChatGPT, and let's see what it gives us. So I'm going to look at the value column of in my table of the player's value, and as you can see over here, we've got values like 1.6 million euros and 625,000 euros. But we know that this is incorrect because it's a value column, but it's text, because you don't have euro symbols, you don't have M and K in it. It has to store the actual number if you want to use this as a measure. Okay, so now I'm going to prompt Chat GPT again. I'm going to give it all of this info and ask it to generate some code for me to convert this to a numeric value. Okay, so back to Chat GPT. Let's give it some info. So say I have a column in MS SQL server in a table which contains strings like, and let's give it one value first. So I'm just going to use the millions, or okay, so let's just do that, and let's get one with the K in it. So I have a column in MS SQL Server in a table which contains strings like 1.6 million euros or 625k, generate MS SQL code to convert this into numeric values. Okay, so let's see what it does. So you can see that I've deliberately left out the part that M should be millions and K should be thousands, because I want to see if uh, Chat GPT is kind of smart enough to sort that out. And by the look of it, it's done that over there. So it's looked for where it's M, and it's multiplying that by 1 million. It's taking a value of like 1.6 million, and it's going to be multiplying that by 1 million, or it's taking a value of 625k and multiplying it by 1000, which is perfect so far. But I'm want to see this in action, so I'm going to copy this case statement again, and let's add it to my query and see if it gives us the correct result. Okay, now I'm going to add that a statement into my, so it's just called it numeric value. I'll just call it value clean, and I'm going to replace the your column with the value column, and let's run it. Let's have a look, and it looks like it's done something. So let's go to the values, and here we go. So we've got a 135 is so 103,500,000. That's correct. We've got 63 million. So there we go, 63, and it's got 3030. So yes, 6 zeros over there at the back, and then it's got 120 million again, which is 123 123. So that's correct so far. And then let's go to where we can see some thousands, and we can see it's 45k is 45,000. And if we carry on further, I think we've seen enough. We can see that that is correct, and it's successfully converted every single one of these values. And where it's a zero, it's just zero, so that's fine. And again, we can see here some, if we just randomly spot check, everything looks 100%. So what's the verdict? What is the takeaway from this video? Well, simply put, AI will replace developers at some point in time. I don't know when that is, but it will happen. And that's not a problem, because history shows we've been automating things for centuries, and we'll continue doing so, and we'll move on to do other things. Okay. And if you think of something like autocomplete, when you are typing out a text message, is a form of AI, but you aren't afraid of that replacing you. You use it as an assistant, use it as a co-pilot to help make your life easier. Okay. And that should be the biggest takeaway over here, is that in terms of boosting your productivity, Chat GPT is an amazing tool, and you should be incorporating it into your daily work. What I will also say to you is that when incorporating this into your work, I got lucky today in this video specifically, because I asked it questions and it gave me all the right answers. But part of it was giving it enough info so that I could get the correct answer. So you have to be able to know what to ask it, and that starts off by actually knowing what you are doing, because if you don't know what you're doing, chances are you won't be able to ask ChatGPT for what you actually really want. Okay. And you have to actually check that those results are correct, because I've seen ChatGPT being incorrect at many times. But like I said, today it worked well, which was nice for the video, but it's not a realistic or accurate representation of what it does, but it is great for boosting your productivity.